What if the greatest threat to your financial future isn't a lack of income, but a collection of seemingly harmless possessions that are silently draining your wealth every single day? There is a financial playbook that the wealthy follow, a set of unwritten rules that allow them to build fortunes while others, who often work much harder, find themselves perpetually stuck. Today, we are opening that playbook to expose its most critical chapter, the 10 worst assets that are engineered to keep you poor. These are not merely bad investments. They are sophisticated wealth destroyers, cleverly disguised as status symbols, necessities, and even smart choices. Warren Buffett's own success story is built on this very principle. His fortune came not just from brilliant investments, but from meticulously avoiding the exact financial traps that most people fall into without a second thought. Each trap we will discuss is part of a system designed to transfer your hard-earned money into someone else's pockets. And be sure to stay until the end, because the final item on our list is the most deceptive of all, and for many of you, it's likely parked in your driveway right now. Let's begin dismantling the financial illusions that are sabotaging your path to wealth. Number 1, the new car. It's the quintessential American dream, but it's also a financial nightmare in disguise. That intoxicating new car smell is the most expensive fragrance you will ever purchase. The moment you drive a new vehicle off the dealer's lot, it loses up to 15% of its value. On an average $45,000 car, that's nearly $7,000 of your money vanishing into thin air before you even make it to the first stoplight. Over the first 5 years, that vehicle will depreciate by more than half its original price. Your $45,000 asset is now worth less than $20,000. The problem is, your car loan doesn't depreciate with it. You continue to pay the full monthly note, plus interest, on an asset that is rapidly losing value. This is the definition of a wealth-destroying liability. The truly wealthy understand this distinction. It's why billionaires like Warren Buffett famously drove a modest, used Cadillac for years. They treat cars as functional tools, not status symbols, and they never confuse a depreciating liability with an appreciating asset. So, here's your practical playbook. Adopt the 2-year rule. A vehicle that is just 2 or 3 years old, with low mileage, has already absorbed the steepest part of its depreciation curve. You can often find a certified pre-owned Toyota Camry or a Honda CR-V that is practically indistinguishable from the brand new model, sometimes still under factory warranty, for $10,000 to $15,000 less. Before you even consider a new car, do the opportunity cost calculation. Take that $45,000 and imagine it invested in a simple S and amp wink with tongue sticking out 500 index fund. Over 20 years, it could grow to over $200,000. Now ask yourself again, is that new car smell really worth $250,000 of your future? Number 2, the vacation timeshare. This is sold as your own personal slice of paradise, but in reality, it's often a financial contract you can never escape. Let's be clear, a timeshare is not an investment. It is a prepaid vacation plan with compounding fees and zero liquidity. The trap begins with a significant upfront cost, averaging over $25,000. But that's just the entry fee. The part the high-pressure salespeople tend to downplay is the mandatory annual maintenance fees. These fees, which start around $1,000, are guaranteed to increase every single year, regardless of whether you use the property or not. You are locked into a lifetime of escalating payments for a vacation you may not even take. The real nightmare begins when you try to get out. The resale market for timeshares is virtually non-existent. It is flooded with desperate owners willing to give their timeshares away for free, or even pay a company thousands of dollars just to take the contract off their hands. A man named David from Arizona shared his story. He paid $35,000 for a timeshare in Hawaii. 6 years and thousands in fees later, he couldn't get a single offer, not even for $1. The smart money, meanwhile, prioritizes flexibility. Financially savvy travelers use platforms like Airbnb, VRBO, or simply book hotels. They enjoy the freedom to visit new destinations, stay in modern accommodations, and most importantly, they have zero long-term financial obligations. Here is your practical advice. Before signing any contract that locks you in for more than a year, apply the flexibility test. Ask yourself, does this purchase increase my options or does it permanently reduce them? A timeshare fails this test spectacularly. If you are already caught in this trap, be aware that there are reputable timeshare exit companies, but they are not cheap. As always in finance, prevention is infinitely better than the cure. Before we move on to our next point, let me ask you a quick question. Are you finding this breakdown of financial traps valuable? If this is helping you see your money in a new way, take a moment and type yes in the comments section below. It signals to the YouTube algorithm that we are on the right track, and it lets me know that this content is making a real difference for you. Okay, let's continue. Speaking of the difference between appearance and reality, let's dismantle our third wealth destroyer, high-end designer goods. This is the trap of trading your financial future for a fleeting moment of admiration from strangers. That $3,000 handbag or $8,000 watch might create an image of success, but the uncomfortable reality is that many people who display these items are living in a state of financial distress. They are sacrificing real, tangible wealth for a fragile illusion of prosperity. This is what's known as the luxury paradox. While those deep in consumer debt are often the first to showcase the latest designer trends, a surprising number of authentic millionaires live remarkably modest lives. Think of Mark Zuckerberg's signature gray t-shirt or Warren Buffett residing in the same Omaha home he purchased in 1958. They embody the principle that building a portfolio of income-producing assets is infinitely more valuable than curating an appearance of wealth. The mathematics of this are unforgiving. A $700 pair of designer sneakers doesn't just cost $700. It costs every dollar that $700 could have become. Invested in a broad market ETF like VTI, that same amount could grow to over $3,000 in 20 years. And if that purchase was financed on a high-interest credit card, its true cost could easily be double the sticker price. This isn't to say you should never own beautiful, high-quality things. The key is proper timing and proportion. Here is your practical advice. Implement the 1% rule. If a luxury purchase costs more than 1% of your total investable net worth, you cannot afford it yet. Build the asset base first. For those who appreciate luxury, there are smarter alternatives. High-end consignment platforms like The RealReal offer authentic designer goods at a significant discount, while services like Rent the Runway allow you to enjoy the experience of luxury fashion without the permanent financial commitment. As damaging as luxury spending is, at least you receive a tangible product. Our fourth wealth destroyer is far more insidious because it sells an invisible, addictive product, false hope. Americans spend billions of dollars on it every year. Number 4. The lottery and casual gambling. This has been called a tax on the poor, and for good reason. It is a system where people voluntarily pay for a fantasy, with odds so infinitesimally small they are statistically zero. Consider the Powerball jackpot. Your odds of winning are approximately 1 in 292 million. You have a statistically higher chance of being struck by lightning this year than you do of winning that prize. The average American adult spends over $300 a year on lottery tickets. It might not seem like a significant amount, but let's examine the opportunity cost. That same $300, invested every year in a simple index fund like VO, could grow to over $70,000 over a 30-year period. A woman named Maria from Texas shared that she had calculated her spending on lottery tickets over a decade and realized it totaled over $14,000. Her largest prize in that time? $50. The wealthy do not build their fortunes on luck. They build it on probabilities. They don't play games where the odds are stacked against them. Instead, they make calculated investments in asset classes like the stock market, businesses, and real estate, where time and fundamentals put the odds firmly in their favor. Here is your practical advice to manage this temptation. Implement the entertainment budget rule. If you enjoy the thrill of a lottery ticket or a small wager, treat it as a pure entertainment expense, just like a movie ticket. Allocate no more than 1 or 2% of your monthly discretionary income to it. A better strategy? Redirect that impulse. Channel the desire for a big win into investing. Platforms like Acorns or even fractional shares on Robinhood can make the act of investing feel just as engaging, but instead of buying a ticket with no value, you are purchasing a piece of a real, productive asset. While gambling can slowly erode your finances, our fifth wealth destroyer operates with the speed and efficiency of a high-powered vacuum cleaner for your wallet. And nearly half of all American credit card holders are currently caught in its grip. Number 5. High-interest credit card debt. That seemingly harmless piece of plastic is, for many, the single most destructive force in their financial lives. With average annual percentage rates now soaring past 20%, carrying a balance on your credit card is like trying to climb a mountain while an anchor is actively pulling you down. The mathematics are terrifying. A modest $6,000 balance on a typical card, if you only make the minimum payments, can take over 20 years to repay and will cost you more than $12,000 in interest alone. You effectively end up paying triple the original price for your purchases. A man named Kevin from Georgia shared his story of a $7,000 debt for home furnishings that ballooned to nearly $18,000 over several years of minimum payments. Here is the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. The minimum payment is not your friend. It is a carefully calculated figure designed to keep you in a state of perpetual debt for the maximum amount of time, allowing them to collect a fortune in interest from you. It is a direct and legal transfer of wealth from your family to their shareholders. Financially disciplined people, however, treat credit cards as tools, not as sources of funding. They leverage them for the cashback rewards, travel points, and fraud protection, but they follow one unbreakable rule. Here is your practical advice: adopt the one payment rule. The balance must be paid in full, every single month, without exception. By doing this, you turn a dangerous liability into a valuable asset. Cards like the Chase Sapphire or the Citi Double Cash become instruments that pay you, rather than costing you a fortune in interest. Let me pause and ask for your feedback. Of the financial traps we've discussed so far, which ones were you already aware of, and which ones have been a surprise? I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Take a moment and comment below with either "knew it" or "this is new to me." I read all the comments, and your feedback helps me create more impactful content for you. Now, if you are currently battling credit card debt, remember there are proven strategies to escape. The debt avalanche method, where you aggressively pay down the balance with the highest interest rate first, is often the most mathematically efficient way to get out of debt and save the most money. But while high-interest consumer debt is a clear enemy, our sixth wealth destroyer is far more subtle. It is often presented as the golden ticket to success, a costly credential that burdens millions of Americans for decades. Number 6. The low-return college degree. The traditional advice to get a good degree to get a good job is becoming a dangerously outdated financial model. With the total cost of a 4-year private university now easily exceeding $200,000, countless young people are graduating with a mountain of debt and a degree that has a very low return on investment. The problem is not education itself. Education is invaluable. The problem is paying an exorbitant price for a degree that does not lead to a high-income career. A student named Jessica from California, for example, graduated with a degree in art history and over $90,000 in student loans. Her first job in the field paid just $35,000 a year, a salary that made it mathematically impossible to make meaningful progress on her debt. Financially intelligent people approach higher education not as an emotional rite of passage, but as a major capital investment. They rigorously analyze the return on investment, or ROI. They ask the tough questions: will this specific degree from this specific institution lead to a career that can comfortably repay the associated debt? Are there more direct and cost-effective paths to my desired profession? Here is your practical advice. Before committing to a major educational expense, apply the payback period rule. A reasonable goal is to choose a path where you can pay off your student debt in 10 years or less. If the starting salary for your chosen field makes this impossible, you must reconsider your strategy. Fortunately, powerful and affordable alternatives are now mainstream. Tech bootcamps and certification programs in fields like software development, cybersecurity, or data analytics can cost less than $15,000 and often lead to starting salaries of $70,000 or more. The community college to state university transfer path can save you over $50,000 on the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree. And online learning platforms like Coursera and edX now offer professional certificates from top-tier universities for a fraction of the on-campus cost. Before you or your children sign any student loan documents, do the research. Websites like the Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook provide realistic salary data for hundreds of careers. Use this data, not college marketing brochures, to make a decision based on numbers, not nostalgia. While education is an investment in yourself, our seventh wealth destroyer is the polar opposite, an investment in headaches. This is the act of spending a fortune on things that you rarely use, that constantly depreciate, and that create more stress than satisfaction. Number 7. High-maintenance luxury toys like boats and RVs. There is a well-known saying in the boating community, "A boat is a hole in the water that you pour money into." This joke contains a painful financial truth. These items are not assets. They are financial black holes. The true cost of ownership extends far beyond the initial purchase price. The rule of thumb is that the annual cost to maintain, store, insure, and fuel a boat is roughly 10% of its purchase price. So, a $75,000 boat will drain an additional $7,500 from your bank account every single year. A man named Chris from Florida bought his dream boat for $80,000, only to realize after a year that he had only used it 10 times. His cost for use was an astounding $2,000 per day on the water, factoring in the boat's depreciation and running costs. The wealthy, on the other hand, understand a critical principle: access is better than ownership. Why incur all the costs and headaches of owning a boat when you can rent a better one for a few $100s on the exact days you want to use it? Services like Boatsetter or membership clubs like Freedom Boat Club provide the luxury experience without the financial nightmare. Here is your practical advice. Before buying any high-maintenance luxury item, apply the 100 hours rule. Ask yourself honestly, will I use this item for more than 100 hours in the next year? If the answer is no, you must rent, not buy. The math is undeniable. That $80,000 boat, with its annual upkeep costs, represents a total financial commitment of over $150,000 in a decade. That same capital invested could be worth over $300,000. The question is never, can I afford the monthly payment? The real question is, what is the true long-term cost to my financial freedom? While buying a depreciating luxury item is an obvious financial misstep, our eighth wealth destroyer is far more deceptive. It is cleverly marketed as a responsible choice that provides both protection and investment, yet it often underdelivers on both fronts, primarily serving to enrich the person who sells it to you. Number 8. Whole life insurance. The sales pitch is seductive. It is a life insurance policy that never expires and builds cash value over time. What is often left unsaid is that you are bundling a very expensive form of life insurance with a low-performing investment vehicle, creating a product that is profoundly inefficient. The cost difference is staggering. A healthy 40-year-old looking for a $1 million death benefit might pay about $50 a month for a 20-year term life policy. A whole life policy with the same benefit could easily cost over $600 a month. That difference of $550 per month is capital that could be compounding in the stock market. The investment portion of a whole life policy is notoriously poor. During the first several years, a huge portion of your premiums is consumed by fees and the agent's commission. It is not uncommon to pay tens of thousands of dollars into a policy over a decade, only to find that its surrender value is less than what you contributed. Financially savvy people follow a much simpler and more effective strategy. A practical rule to adopt is the buy term and invest the difference principle. They purchase inexpensive term life insurance to cover their needs during the years they have dependents and major debts, like a mortgage. Then, they take the significant cost savings and invest it directly into low-cost index funds within a tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA or a 401k. This approach provides superior protection and generates vastly greater long-term wealth. If you currently have a whole life policy and are questioning its value, please know that you have options. It is often best to consult with a feel-me financial planner who does not earn commissions to get unbiased advice on your specific situation. Now, let's move to our ninth wealth destroyer. This one is likely within arm's reach of you right now. It is a recurring expense, fueled by a multi-billion-dollar marketing machine designed to make you feel dissatisfied with what you already own. Number 9. The constant cycle of expensive tech upgrades. That new flagship smartphone is a masterpiece of marketing. It boasts a slightly improved camera, a marginally faster processor, and a compelling ad campaign. But here is the truth the tech industry thrives on you ignoring. The incremental improvements between device generations rarely justify the $1,000+ price tag of an annual upgrade. The entire business model is built on a concept called planned obsolescence. The goal is not for your current device to fail, but for you to feel that it is no longer adequate. It is a psychological game, and it is incredibly effective. The long-term financial drain is significant. Upgrading your smartphone every single year can easily cost you over $10,000 in a decade. A simple shift in behavior can save you thousands. A man named Mark from Austin calculated he had spent over $12,000 on new phones in just 8 years, money that, if invested, would have been worth nearly double that amount. The financially intelligent approach to technology is to use it until it no longer effectively serves its purpose. A simple rule to follow is the 4-year cycle. Aim to keep your smartphone for at least 4 years. This simple discipline can save you thousands of dollars, which can then be deployed into assets that actually grow in value. When an upgrade is genuinely necessary, be a smart consumer. Last year's model is often available for a 30 to 40% discount, and certified refurbished devices from the manufacturer can provide the same performance and warranty for a fraction of the cost. Our final wealth destroyer is perhaps the most emotionally charged of all. It is a single event, marketed as the happiest day of your life, that often leaves couples starting their new life together under a crushing weight of debt. Number 10. The extravagant wedding. The modern wedding industry has masterfully created a culture where the average American wedding now costs over $30,000. Many couples are financing this single day, trading years of their financial future for a few hours of celebration. The social and media pressure to have a spectacular event is immense, but it is built on a dangerous myth. There is absolutely no statistical correlation between the cost of a wedding and the long-term success of the marriage. In fact, some studies suggest the opposite is true. The real issue is the profound opportunity cost. A young couple, Sarah and Tom from Chicago, made a different choice. They held a beautiful, intimate wedding for $6,000. The $24,000 they saved became the down payment on their first duplex, an asset that began generating rental income for them immediately. That is the difference between buying a one-day memory and investing in a lifetime of freedom. That $30,000 spent on a wedding, if invested by a 30-year-old, could grow to over $500,000 by retirement. The question is stark. Is a lavish party worth sacrificing a significant portion of your financial independence? Financially intelligent couples are shifting the focus from extravagance to experience. A practical rule to adopt is the zero debt rule. Your wedding budget should be an amount you can comfortably pay for in cash, without derailing your long-term savings and investment goals. This forces you to be creative. Consider a Friday or Sunday wedding, choose a non-traditional venue, and prioritize what truly matters, celebrating your commitment with the people you love most. Remember, most people are busy purchasing the illusion of wealth. You now possess the knowledge to avoid these traps and build the real thing. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. On a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable was this information for you? Let me know your rating in the comments, and tell me which of these wealth traps you are now committed to avoiding.